There it is.
Welcome to What Lies Ahead. I'm your host, Chris Raffini, lead singer of the Long Island band Overthrow. On my podcast, I explore everything related to the hardcore scene through the eyes of artists, promoters, and record labels. As always, please like or subscribe on all social media platforms. Today, I'm joined by Joey, frontman of Long Island's breakout melodic hardcore band Koyo and the creative force behind 51st State Records. Since forming, Koyo has quickly ascended the scene with heartfelt releases like Drives Out East and Would You Miss It? He's also lead vocalist for the metallic hardcore band Blood Runs Cold. As I mentioned, Joey runs his own label, 51st State Records, showing his commitment to lifting the next generation of hardcore. Today, we'll talk about his experiences as a musician, a label owner, and discuss what's in store for the future for all his bands. Joey, what's going on? Thanks for coming on.
What's up, dude? Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the intro. All very nice and appreciate it for real.
Oh, yeah, but could have went on and on, honestly, for everything that you and Koyo honestly have achieved in, we're going to, was it 5 years now? Not even yet, right? Or a little longer than
Yeah.
that.
So I think it's technically 5 years. We released music January of 2020, but we started writing and jamming and stuff like late 2019. So we've been at it for about 5 years, but obviously you have that like COVID gap where there were no shows. So there was
Right.
like a lapse in that timeline of sorts.
Right. Like you guys quickly ascended and well deserved. You guys are, you put you guys on once and it's like, the song already. It's that catchy. So many cool stuff to talk about. So I guess what we'll start with is you really in the beginning. So let's talk with your history in music and led you to hardcore and then shows from there. And then I know you were a tour manager, right, for Vane and then Typecast and all that kind of stuff based. So yeah, I guess all that kind of stuff, how that kind of built up to where you are right now.
For sure. I will try and compartmentalize it as much as I can because I'm a rambler and tangents are my enemy. I'll just fly off in another direction. So I guess in a very compartmentalized way, I got into music in general as a kid by way of my parents. Like growing up, I really wasn't like I was around a lot of music, but I don't think I was into music until I was like 10 or 11 years old. That's when I like had bands start clicking with me. Um, and when I was in middle school, me and Spanos, our bass player, had met Harold on the first day of seventh grade, who's our guitar player. And he was literally just playing guitar in like a small practice room across from like a class I was taking. And at that point, I was like completely like I was obsessed with like the idea of being in a band. I wanted to play in a band so bad. I played guitar, I was taking lessons, whatever. And then I just see this kid across from me literally playing guitar. So I think I just stumbled into the room and essentially was like, "Hey man, let's be friends. You play
Mhm.
guitar." And cue the first band that me, Harold, and Spanos did together. At that point, we were 12 years old. We made this band to play a benefit show at our junior high school. And at that same benefit, funny enough, at the meetings for that same benefit show, um, James Aloisio, who manages our band, and is also from Stony Brook. We met him through that, and he like named our first band, which was Q-Tip. And all these years later, James is a dear friend and obviously works directly with Koyo, but like we go way back. So that was kind of our little squad at the time. Um, and then kind of Q doing a few more bands, and these bands were not like anything of substance. So we're literally just like kind of covering songs and just like checking out music. And I think at that point we're like just getting exposed to like not hardcore properly, but just like alternative music by way of like Warped Tour or something. Like we're like 13 years old. Um, and then roughly our sophomore year of high school, or correction, I guess it was our sophomore year of high school. So like around sophomore year, like summer going into sophomore year of high school, we started going to like local shows, and there really was like no mission with that. We were going to whatever, like we
Mhm.
just whatever was happening, kind of whatever was in our face via Facebook by way of like East Coast Collective doing shows at the time. We would just kind of pop out to whatever. And then I think properly kind of like, give it like a trial run of like 6 to 8 months of just going to
Mhm.
whatever. And I think kind of very quickly just found ourselves going to like hardcore shows and quickly indoctrinated ourselves into doing that. At the time, Long Island looked like Backtrack, Incendiary, King
Yeah.
Nine. That was kind of like what was happening. and a whole litany of like other like local bands like Bottom Out and Provider, stuff like that. So we were just kind of going to those shows and just fell in through that lane. Um, and like we spent all of high school and like our early, I mean, not all of us went to college, I guess, but like, or completed college, but our college years, like just going to shows and stuff. And then at like 21, I started there was like a big Northeast connect in like budding like 2015 into like 2016. I feel like Hudson Valley, Long Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts were all like meeting up in Connecticut to like go to shows at the Womleg. And I kind of made a lot of friends that way too, like in the Northeast. And I met pretty much all of Vane that way,
Mm-hmm.
uh, who who recorded music with like Evan, who plays in Blood Runs Cold with me, and played in Separated. So like there was a Separated Vane tour that kind of bona fide that like Long Island, Massachusetts link. And I think I just kind of got to know everyone through that way. And I was also dating a girl in New England at the time, like way back when, or at least it feels way back when, it's like 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I was going up there all the time, and I would just hang out with like my friend Dylan, who sings or sang, whatever you want to call it, with Typecast,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and Vane, and we were just chilling all the time. And things got going for Vane a little more at the time. Lumpy from Sanction and Days was doing merch for them, and then Sanction got popping, so Lumpy kind of had to go do his own thing. And although Typecast had started like via that link, like me and Dylan were hanging, we were doing the Long Island to Mass Connect thing,
Mm-hmm.
and Typecast had just put out a demo and got off the ground and like planned a tour. I kind of just stepped in Lumpy's place. Vane was starting to roll out singles. It was leading up to them putting out Arizona, and I was like, yo, I just want to be on tour, and you guys have become some of my best friends. So we're just gonna like, if you'll have me, I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
And cue like a crazy 2 years of my life, I guess, like, or 2 to 3 years, like all of like from 2017 to like the start of 2020, I was just on the road like
Wow.
200 plus days a year. I would do everything with Vane I possibly could. I missed very little. And then Dylan was still in school. He was finishing college, but Typecast would tour every summer and every break. So it's like I would do Vane all year, and then I would have a Typecast full US, and then I would go and do another Vane thing. It was just
Mm-hmm.
go, go, go. I would I think 2018 into 2019, just those 2 years alone, I think I did like 6 or 7 full US tours. It was
Wow.
crazy. Japan, Europe a couple of times, like did so much. Um, and Typecast was definitely like a priority. Like it was very much like a yo, if this gets there, and I think the 2025 gets there and the 2019 gets there are very different
Mm-hmm.
ideas in
Mm-hmm.
like the space we're in. And but the idea of Typecast getting there was, oh yo, if like we could get paid like $400 a night to play a show and just consistently tour and get one hotel room and like break even, like if we could get to that point, you know, Typecast has it. I will step back from Vane, whatever. Like we'll just do that. Um, but before that was even a possibility, we were on tour with Sanction uh, in March of 2020, and we were like 3 weeks into a full US with Sanction, and right on the home
Oh
stretch.
God, like right in the heart of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that got rug pulled. But funny enough, and again, this is all super. It doesn't feel like it as I'm explaining it, but this really is like an abridged summary here.
Mm-hmm.
Koyo was at that time uh, writing music because Koyo started that fall of 2019
Mm-hmm.
because myself, Harold, TJ, Sal, and Spanos were all like, with the exclusion of Spanos, who hadn't really toured at all, but TJ played in touring hardcore bands. Sal at the time was in Sea Space Cowboy
Yeah.
playing drums. Harold was in Hangman, and they were touring pretty all in all, like around like their schedules. Like they did a full US, they would go out 2-3 weeks at a time. Like they were busy despite the band not literally being like full time. So all of us were touring, and we were like, yo, like it's awesome that we've all made all these other friends and like get to do this with other peers and stuff. But like these are all like we were one another's best friends, and we all started going shows together and like got into music together. So we just wanted a band to get back to that. So we were
Mhm.
working on the Koyo stuff, recording it, and then we dropped that first EP demo, whatever you want to call it. It really should have just been titled demo, but we slapped a title on it for no
Mhm.
reason, 80 words in the lines.
Mhm.
And we put that out while we were on that while Typecast was on that Sanction tour. So that tour ends abruptly. Um, we put out Koyo music, and it really like real time kind of felt like this changing of the guard because and this is obviously with no discredit to Typecast. I take so much pride in everything we did with Typecast, and like it actually, funny enough, is one of those things where I think more people talk about it now that it's not around. Funny enough, but it felt like this like real time changing of the guard. Like I had never put out music and had such, and it again, it's largely from peers here, but I had never put out music before and had the response be so like unanimous, I guess. Like when we put out Painting Words, like basically everyone that I had ever known was sharing that and
Yeah.
being, yo, listen to this. And I Typecast, which is fine. Like not everyone had to like the band, but Typecast never got respect like that. You know, it wasn't like that. So like real time, we were hyper aware that something tangible was happening, something different than what any of us had experienced before. But we were still very much on the tip of like, yo, we won't tour. Everyone's like at that point 22, turning 23, finishing college, whatever, whatever. It's like everyone was thinking like when all this COVID shit lets up, we're getting office jobs and like Joey's just gonna keep
Right.
touring with Bane and whatever, whatever. And that is not ultimately what happened. Like the pandemic time period was what it was. We wrote Drives Out East, recorded it, and there was just this budding, tangible interest in the band. And we kind of we were able to, once all the vaccine stuff happened, we were kind of able to like see the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of things reopening. So we set up putting out Drives Out East. We booked record release shows and kind of have just haven't stopped since. That was just the
Yeah.
shove off point and like cue where we're at now. So
Yeah.
I that's a long spiel, but that's
No,
literally
it's a,
where
it's a
we're up to
great
now.
like story to where you are. And it's, people, this is an audio podcast, so people aren't seeing the video, but we're talking, you're in the studio now and recording. So the only time you
Yeah.
guys are, your break is recording right now. You just got off that run with Drain. You did the Warp Tour. Um, and it's you guys, yeah, like you guys constantly just keep running and moving with it. And that's why you are where you are. And also the music is catchy as hell. So when Koyo started, was it the idea of this is something like a band we're gonna like really go tour with. We're gonna do stuff. It's like, all right, we wrote this EP demo, put it out, and then it just kind of snowballed to where you are right now. You know what I mean?
It was way more that. Like
Mhm.
I may have told this story before, like on like another podcast, but like I've definitely told it to friends. Um, but I'll tell it again where on that same tour that Koyo was on, like, or not Koyo was on, excuse me, that Typecast was on that got shut down early. Like 2 or 3 days before it got shut down, we'd just put out that first Koyo demo. And already C Space Cowboy was on that tour. And they were already coming up to me and Sal being like, I mean, Sal's in the band, but they were like coming up to me being like, hey, like, we're gonna do a fall full US headliner, like assuming that can actually still happen, like Koyo should do it. That'd be awesome. So there I am already like hitting the group chat being like, yo, I know we said no tour, but like this is like a good one. Like that's a poppin' band at the time. Like, yo, we should give it a chance. And that was like first fight as a band was just like, yo, we're not doing this. We said we're not touring. Like, why would we do that? And I was an early advocate for like, yo, like just give it a chance. Like there's something tangible here. But I was also like ready to see whatever avenue, whether it be Typecast or Vane. Like I kind of had my plan set. So I wasn't like freaking out if Koyo didn't go for it. But by the time that we were like through the pandemic tunnel, everyone's mindset completely changed. Everyone was like, yo, like I just lost a year and a half of my young adult life. I don't I don't want to like skip out on anything. Like the plan was just be a local band. We literally just started to like add to the pool on Long Island. But if the water's warm, let's fucking swim. Why not? You
Right.
know?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, so it wasn't like
our mentality definitely changed
yeah,
quickly.
and it sounds like from the beginning you guys weren't forcing anything at all, and I think that's why
Uh,
the sound and even the music you guys come out with sounds so genuine and stuff like that. So it's like I'm wondering too. So now you're in the thick of it, and back then you guys were just writing songs. Um, you were writing a few songs. You put out your EP demo,
yeah.
but then you had your first album. You're writing. It sounds like another one. What's
Mhm.
the process like now for you guys writing songs? Because you guys tour like crazy. You're always touring, and even if it's not a long tour, you're touring for a week or so, like we just described, a week or so ago. So, what's the writing process like? Do you guys stop and say, "Let's write"? Do you write on the road? Sounds like you got something coming up soon. So, it's like, how does that go about for you guys?
So it's interesting, like painting words into lines and drives out east were like very like 101 band writing sesh type stuff. Like painting, I wrote a lot of those songs with TJ, and then we like brought it to the band and like we like brought it to life in my parents' garage. Drives out east, same vibe. Harold had a song, I had a song, TJ had a song, and we were like doing it in like the practice space we had around Konkoma and just like really like grinding out those songs. But I think with Would You Miss It, it was a little bit more of a it was a longer process because we had so much time to write it. We literally had the entire existence of the band to write your first record.
Mhm,
Where like LP2, you only got like 2, 3 years to do it.
mhm,
But it also was this thing where I think we now understood what the band was. We understood what the songs are. So there was like a little less legwork needed in terms of like, okay, let's squat up in full and really like thug out figuring out what the part is, what this is. So what I think now more commonly happens is Harold or TJ write most of the songs. They will demo their songs on Logic at like a completely primitive form. I'll usually give notes on structure, kind of like just like if anything sticks out to me, change this, play it this way, whatever, whatever, like kind of like top down producerial songwriting requests, I guess.
mhm.
And occasionally I'll have a song idea too, where I'm very bad at guitar. I am not great at like even translating my ideas. I can't demo stuff on Logic. So once in a blue moon, I'll take something to Harold and he'll like flesh it out for me in demo form. But we'll do that. We'll make these Logic demos and then we'll bring it to the band and be like, here's the song. Let's now jam it out and like make it real. Where like drives and painting was like sitting there, just so much time spent being like, here's the riff. No, play that. No, no, do this. It's like we skip a step doing it this way in a good way. But we did that for Would You Miss It? We just had a lot of time to do that and to like rewrite and re-demo and do demo vocals with me in Harold's apartment. Um, where this new record that we're working on right now is a completely different process because we had very little written after Would You Miss It. We had some stuff in the tank that is on this
Mhm.
record, like some like seeds, some ideas, but we didn't have all the time in the world to write it like we did the first one. And we just like Would You Miss It? We recorded it 3 years ago, pretty much to the day. And
Mm,
at that point, the band had done one full US or two full US tours, one in the fall of the previous year and one right before we went to the studio. But that was really it, aside from like playing some weekends, like a short run. So although we had been doing stuff, our summer was like blocked off to do that record. And then we did it, and we did another full US, and then another full US going into 2023. And then we put an album out, and then we did four more full USs in Japan and Australia and Europe. So we've just been on the road this entire album cycle. So I there was a lot more like archival ideas. Like TJ was writing stuff at home, Harold was writing stuff at home. I had an idea here or there kicking around. And January of this year, we basically met up and we're like, what do we got?
mm,
What's available? And
mhm.
we were very stressed about it, and then we kind of just took a big deep breath and we were like, whoa, okay, we got way more than I thought we got. And then we kind of like this past 6 months, even while being on the road, has just been boot camp writing. Like we've been touring in an RV this year because they're honestly priced the same as a van rental. So it's like,
Mhm.
why would I be in a van when I could be in an RV and
Mhm.
at least stand up and have a bathroom?
Mhm.
So we did that Comeback Kid tour we just did in February in an RV, and Harold just broke out his laptop and his interface and was just like working out some of these LP song demos from the RV, from the road. And then we finally had some off time after that. We finished that Comeback Kid tour like early March, and we were off until that drain run. That's the most time I've
Yeah.
had off in like 3 years. I have not had like three concurrent months off from tour since like 2022.
Wow.
Uh,
And you were
which
able, that gave you guys afforded you the opportunity to even really start focusing in on the writing, right?
Totally. Because otherwise, I think what would have happened is this studio session that we're in right now probably would have had like a front loaded extra like 2 weeks of pre pro to like really slap it together and like work out what the songs are. But we did 3 days of pre pro a month ago before coming into the studio. And we were like, okay, this is the record. Here's the
Mhm.
sequence. Here's the order. Here's the songs. Now we just have to make it real. Like we were
Right.
like, and what I think everyone's anxiety is with making like a follow-up album is obviously like doing something as good or better than your first, but also like the thought that the quality of songwriting could suffer because you have less time to do
Mm.
it. But I think there's actually like a really special like pressure factor that made these songs that we're working on right now so fucking awesome because we
Mhm.
kind of did it under the gun, but that made it like instinctual and real, and we didn't overthink it. It's just like these songs just completely like flow out of us. It's like complete gut instinct.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
great like way to put it. Because one of the things I was going to ask, did you feel any? And I was like, do I call it pressure because of like obviously the run you went on, and probably you guys at some point while you were on all these different tours after the album came out, were like, okay, let's start writing. But you guys were getting probably these amazing offers, and the Story So Far tour, and this tour, and that tour, and all these
yeah,
things.
yeah. There's no
Right?
time to
You're like,
stop.
we got to
No
jump on
opportunity to
this.
stop.
Yeah,
Like
we got to jump on this. You know.
that Comeback Kid tour we did, we almost didn't take it
Mm.
because of exactly that. We were like, hey, we got to work on this record, and we kind of just made a split decision call to like do it anyways, for better or worse. Like I ultimately think it was for the better, but like nonetheless, it's like it could be a lot of bands, and it's still like, yo, you got to make a record this year. Losing a month is losing a month towards doing that, you know.
That's the
But
reality, right? And that's it. So one thing I wanted to ask too is lyrics wise and like I guess it's cadence of how you sing over things. Did you like while you're in the RV or van? Are you the kind of person where you have ideas jotted down of lyrics that you put down, or you need to hear the music for you to sing and write about something in terms of how it goes about?
so a little bit of both, but definitely way more. If you give me the music, I can write. Like, don't get me wrong. Like every now and then, like a cool lyric or like a song that isn't real like will pop into your head and you're like, you're just spacing off and hearing something that isn't actually a real song, and you're
Right.
hearing singing and lyrics and whatever in your head. And like when that happens, like if it's something cool, I'll definitely make a note and be like, oh, idea for song, whatever, whatever, and like try and like catch the moment before it fades into ADD oblivion. But lyrically speaking, it's like we like I said, we demo these songs, so even before they're real, I'll have a version with guitar and fake drums sitting in my phone. So what I'll usually do is I'll just spam listening to the song over and over and over again in demo form to carve out what the lyrics and melody will be. And for this record, for instance, like we have like I think we came into the pre-pro session with like 12 or 13 songs and cut a few. And then for this, I think we're recording like 11 songs and some acoustic stuff. But like I had lyrics done for like, I think 7 of them before we even started the studio
Okay.
session. And that's
Mhm.
just from having those demos in the palm of my hand and just being able to like headphones on, play, 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 play while we're on tour,
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
I'd kill a lot of the drives, honestly.
Yeah, that's great. And that probably, for sure probably helps, So one of the things to think about too is, in terms of writing. And one thing I actually did want to ask, like some of these
Yeah.
songs that you're coming about now, do you walk into the studio ready to record like these, I'm making it up, 10 songs are ready to go? Or like you said, some songs don't make the cut. It happens sometimes. Or there are things when you go into the studio that things get changed up a little bit, like that may not be originally the way they were planned or written.
I think things actually tend to change a lot in the
Mm,
studio. Actually, to that same point, what the approach for this record at like a engineering level, which is different from Would You Miss It, is Would You Miss It? We kind of did it pyramid style where it was like the drums and then the guitar and then the bass and then the singing. But we have literally to the left of me the drums set up to be mic'd at any given time. So we've kind of just been like freeballing recording stuff. So like we have some songs that have drums, guitar, and vocals already. We have some songs we haven't even started. Some
mm,
songs have drums, guitar, vocal, bass. Like we're doing it in a intentionally disjointed way where we're equipped to just like tackle songs as we go and kind of run and gun. So like that caters itself to changing things. Like if we want to change the structure of a song or a drum part or the way something flows, whatever, it's like we are very literally equipped to do it. And
mm.
that is one thing that I don't think adversely affected Would You Miss It in any way, but I definitely remember going to John, our producer, when we were working on Would You Miss It and being like, yo, man, could you change the kick snare pattern on this? And then suddenly he has to go slice and dice a bunch of shit in Pro Tools and make drums that weren't actually what we really played just to like satisfy
Yeah.
a little request, you know? Where
Mm.
with this, it's like if we wake up tomorrow and we're like, no, this needs to be like a blast beat instead, like Sal can just come up here and do it
Full.
and we can just change the song, which is awesome. Things do change all the time, and this scenario lends itself to the most amount of flexibility to those changes.
That's great. And it sounds like you guys are open to these things, but also collaborative in your writing, but also when you're adjusting stuff within the studio.
For sure,
Yeah.
100%, without a
Just the way
doubt.
you were describing it. So my next point is you probably, because we're going to get into 51st at one point in time, but how you guys go about structuring your album track list. You're I don't know if you're there yet with this one, but you could look back at your last record, right? Like, would you miss it? How did you go about structuring that? Do you think of like, okay, if there's 12 songs, song 7, if my math is correct, that would start off the second part of the vinyl, so that's a good way to lead off. Like, do you guys look at that? This is a great one
Yeah,
to open up the track, the album with. Like, how do
that's
you look at that?
so. All of those things 100% play a factor. I think very early on when we're just dealing with like the pool of the songs, me, Harold, and TJ will always be like, and even Spouse and Sal to a degree. I don't want to count them out from this. I think everybody weighs in on this, but it's very commonly conversations between me, Harold, and TJ early on where it's like we'll be writing a song and working on a demo and we'll be like, oh, this is a track 2. Oh, this is a closer. Oh, this is the perfect
Mm,
start to the B side. Like those are 100% things we're accounting for. And then as we kind of sequence the record, because this one it could change, but it's mostly sequenced. I think we have a basically a complete sequence for this album as is. And I think like key blocks are like a factor too. Like I think we do it subconsciously, but a lot of the time, like we did it with Would You Miss It? We end up blocking songs in the same key. So it'll be like track 1 and 2 and 3 are in the same key, and then 4 and 5 are in a different key. But like because they're in the same key, your ear, it like naturally lends itself to your ear. Like you
mm,
don't think about it as a listener, but these songs flow together because melodically they're like
right.
paired. So that's something that I don't think we like are too like that is not the leading calculated effort, but once we kind of know what a track 1 and 5 and 10 and 7 is, we kind of just naturally pop things in place,
Way to set it up. Yeah.
yeah, that pair with one another. And also like what the songs do are a factor too. You know, it's
Of
like
course.
like think looking back to the first record, like Would You Miss It? It's like the end of 51st State into the beginning of like You're on the List. It feels like this like up the roller coaster and drop.
Mhm.
Like that's like the intention, you know, it's like how do these things flow into each other? Because we're making records for people who listen to records. Like obviously in this day and age, people Spotify and singles and just churn music in different ways and playlists, whatever. But we don't think about it in that way. We think about it in like what is the album we're making in
Right.
totality? That is 100% our approach.
Right. I love that because it's clearly when you listen to that album, you hear what you're talking about. Like it clearly happens like that. I want to get into your set lists, but I'd be remiss to talk about you guys have some super cool videos. Like you really, really do.
Thank
And
you.
you directed one, right? Like you're on the list. I think you directed that one,
Yeah, yeah. And
which is
and I
awesome.
don't get me wrong, I don't want to take away any appreciation or credit where credit's due. Like our friends Connor and Sam, who also did the Mariches video, they
Mhm,
they we kind of like trifecta directed You're on the List. So it's like
mhm,
I did, which feels funny to say because I'm in no way like director. But
mhm.
like I very much had a vision for that video. I had a game plan. I was like true man with the plan on this one. So Connor and Sam just kind of let me lead the way and deferred to me for decisions and let me set up shots, whatever, whatever. Do things I'm frankly not qualified to do. But it was awesome. It was a really cool experience doing that.
Came out
But
awesome. So it's like you guys, you have a lot of different videos, obviously, as well. So like Life's a Pill. So that one you were talking about was and your concept. So how does it work typically? Like with there's a lot of videos you have, but the videos that you do have, do you each of you come up with an idea, you run with it, then you go with the person who's doing it? Like how does it come about? Because the video seems super fun that you're doing, by the way. So
thank
like it
you.
looks like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
enjoying yourself. So it's like, which is great.
That's like funny enough. One of my favorite parts of doing the band is making the videos. I love doing the music
Mhm.
videos, which is a shame because like in this day and age, they're just not as important. They're awesome. It's dope to do, but like it's really something you do for like the people that really fuck with your band the most, which is awesome. Um, but I love making the videos. A lot of the time, up to this point, most of the videos that we've done thus far have kind of been I've kind of QB'd them. Like they've either been like loosely my idea or like obviously a lot of the ideas tend to ultimately be collaborative in what we do, but it's kind of like it's like Anthem. Like it's like, okay, we're gonna shoot a live video. We're gonna do it at the VFW. It'll be a real show. I'll get Eric here. I called him on the phone. He told me what lights we needed. We rented whatever. Like,
Mhm.
like that's kind of just me steering the ship on that. Same with You're on the List. Same with Life's a Pill. It's like me and Eric Richter, who's done a lot of our videos, will just kind of powwow and be like, here's what I'm thinking. Here's the general game plan. And God bless Eric because like that is a dude who is like overqualified to be doing our videos. I met him through Vane.
Mhm.
Um, and he's become like a real deal fucking titan in that space. Um, and he's always down to just trust and come to Long Island and shoot videos with us, kind of with not no plan, but not as much of a plan as he's used to. Because a lot of the times, like directors and videos, like they will either provide a full treatment themselves and be like, I listened to the song, here's my idea. That's
Yeah.
what 10 Digits was. That was Mason Mercer's vision. Like he was like, here's what I want to do for this video, and we just did it. But with Eric, a lot of the time, like Mile a Minute, Life's a Pill, I'm even Anthem, like to a degree, because we had all this B-roll that we just shot on Long Island. I was like, Eric, just come here with a camera and be down to make some dope shit, and like we'll
Mhm.
find the way here. Like Life's a Pill has like a loose narrative, and I knew what I wanted that to be, I guess. But Eric, real time, like helped bring it to life through like his ability as like a director and like as an artist. Like he's such a talented dude.
Cool.
But
They're great videos, all of them. They're fun to watch, and I love videos. I grew up with MTV, so
yeah, yo, that's the best shit.
completely dating myself, but I enjoy videos like what Standstill was doing with their videos. I
Yeah,
love
all the
them,
videos were awesome for this record. It's
Great.
fucking
Do you have an idea? I mean, you're not. I don't know if you're there yet with the new material. In terms of like, have you thought that far ahead of track listing and singles yet? I don't know if you've done that, but is there maybe a song sometimes or a song that you're thinking of now, like, oh, this could be a video that we're gonna shoot. Like, you can envision something in your head of how it's going, or you're just so focused on getting this recording done, you're not even there yet.
No, we're always thinking about it.
Mhm,
So like we have a couple songs that we think are going to be singles for this record, and we're
mhm.
kind of already churning on videos for that. Um, it's something I can say, um, because it's coming out in August. We're going to be doing a show in the Smith backyard in Lindenhurst, and
It's
it's going to
awesome.
be a video shoot for a
It's
song.
amazing. Yeah,
It's going to be a real show. It's going to be us, Inner Love, and Victory Garden. We're going to formally announce it like a few days before, but
it's
it's going
awesome.
to, we're not going to like post Chris's address, but it's going to be an open thing where if anyone emails us or hits us up on like socials, we're just going to give the address out. Chris wants mad people there. He just doesn't want to be doxxed. But yeah, we're going to do a real show in his backyard and just
That's
like
sick.
a video. And like that was the plan off rip because we were like, just thinking about what that song is, we're like, yo, this is going to be the focus track and it's going to have a video and it needs to be a live video and it needs to be dope and outside and on the island. Like we're thinking about those things all the time.
It's going to be great. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, and it's going to clear. You could just tell that's going to get captured with that. That's going to be amazing.
For sure.
The next is a set list question here. So, how you guys go about structuring it? That's like a big thing. I love that. I've always, even when I was younger, when I was super into thrash metal, I would always be intrigued. What was Metallica playing when I was in 5th grade, and like looking at their set list
Yeah.
and how they structure that. So, your catalog is growing. You're going to have another album now. How do you guys structure your set list? Now, you just did the Warp Tour, different.
Mhm.
That's festivals, right? Like, so
Totally.
you play the hits. I would obviously think, right? I mean, you have
Yeah.
a lot of them, so it's probably tough to choose between all of
Yeah,
them.
I appreciate it.
But when you're headlining, though, do you typically, when you're on a run, do you keep the same set? Do you adjust things? Do you look at streams like, oh shit, we're in Alabama tonight? Like this song's Anthem is, you're gonna play Anthem, but using as an
Yeah.
example, Anthem's killing it in Alabama right now. Like, do you look at that, or is it more about feel, about how you're going with it?
So I think there's a couple aspects to it. First and foremost is, of course, feel. Like how songs flow into one another is paramount. That's everything. But something that I think I have a huge problem with not being hyper aware of, and anytime we're like talking set lists, I feel like I'll just like throw out some songs in a certain order. And Harold and TJ are quick to kind of be like, hey, we literally can't do that easily. Is tunings. Tunings are like a factor because like Harold for his like leads will kind of like play in some funky tunings sometimes. It's not all E standard or drop D. Like sometimes he'll play in these like open tunings that he does to like accommodate stuff that he's tracked. Um, and like now we have some songs that are in E flat standard on this new record. So it's like we have all these different tunings and blocking songs in certain tunings helps that. It's not do or die, it's not make or break. Like sometimes we could just like let some feedback hang, make some noise, and someone could quickly tune into whatever and fix what we need to fix. But the tuning kind of rules all for making a set list where like end of the day, like we need these things to be able to be played without stopping to like sit there and fiddle for too long. So that I think feel and tuning are huge. And obviously there's a bit of adjustment with like setting. Like we can play any songs anywhere for sure, but like, like with Warp Tour, it's like a little more refined and encapsulated of like, would you miss it songs and things we think people will know. Where like if we're playing Long Island, we'll probably play some older stuff because we know people still know it. If we play a hardcore fest, we'll probably splash some older stuff in there because, that's where people who saw it early on are going to see it again. On that run with Drain, for a couple of the shows, we played this song Dreaming in a Wasteland off the first EP
Mhm.
for no other reason than we were at practice for that run. And I was like, yeah, we should play Dreaming. It'd be fun if we played an old song. And everyone was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So
Cool.
for a couple shows, we played it, so that tour was like us and Drain, and then Scal jumped on it, and they were like in the slot we were in. So we went from having like 35 minutes to 30. So when we had 35, that's when we played Dreaming. We were like, yo, we have all the time in
Yeah.
the world.
Mhm.
Let's just fucking add it. It's cool.
Did you guys do you test, like, because you're at a different point now, but you still could do that, but do you test some of these new songs out, or I don't know, test out, but like you play them just to see
Yeah.
how they react, or just it's like sheer excitement and you just want to play them because like it's like, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, you get a new song, you just want to get it out there. But did you play any new songs on this last run, or even with Comeback Kid, or any of that point?
So we have yet to play any new songs on any of these runs yet. Um, Primarily because everything was still just a little like we had the songs, but we still weren't sure what was what yet. But when Would You Miss It was still in the tank, like we finished recording it, but when we finished Would You Miss It, we had like a year before it came out. Like it was literally like in the tank for like 10 months. So we were playing like 51st and You're on the List and just like trialing it. Like we didn't expect anyone to do anything to those songs without knowing it, but just, gauging reaction, seeing if the thing, especially about being like in a band like ours versus like a harder band or like a hardcore band in like all traditional senses, is like hardcore bands can rely on moshing. Like you
Mhm.
can rely on people going crazy to like indicate if they like something. Even new songs, like sometimes you'll just hear a dope mosh part and you're like, I know
Sure.
this is new, but
Yeah.
it's a dope mosh part. So game on. Like with our band, it's not we rely, especially with new music, on just the sole indication of like, are they bobbing their head? Is there any glimmer in their eyes, or is it just completely like stone stoic reactions in the crowd? Like playing new stuff, all you need to see is that like these people are zoning out but are like locked into the music, and if it seems like they're locked in, that's a good vibe, which was a good thing for 51st, and you're on the list, and we were playing it on like Bayside before it came out and like some other shows. It's like we could tell people liked these songs just off that alone. But
Cool.
end of the day, it's like with new stuff, we're never banking on anyone going nuts for it, because although I'm grateful people do mosh and dive and go crazy for our band, like that's the core of like what it's all about. You really can't do that without knowing the songs for us. Like we are not a band that like lends itself to like, if you don't know these songs, you'll be able to like go crazy. You kind of
Mhm.
have to know it.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of energy in your set, from you to the crowd and everything, and everywhere you guys play.
Thank you.
Songs that you don't play anymore, or that you actually, two questions. Songs that you don't play anymore that you wish you would. It's going to be tough moving forward because you have another album. You can't play everything.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
is there a song you've never played before live?
Good question. I don't think so. I think
Mhm.
we literally have played everything live, because we've played we when we did the Would You Miss It record releases, we played the whole album. So that checks that box. And when we did the Drives Out East record release shows, we played all of Drives Out East and all of Painting. So we played all 9 songs. We played the Jawbreaker cover we recorded. We played 10 Digits, Straight North, Call It Off, even, and Mile a Minute. So yeah, I think we've literally played everything,
You've
which is
done
crazy
everything.
to say.
Yeah.
We've played it all. But in terms of stuff I wish were back in rotation, I hold the Painting Words songs like so near and dear, because
Mhm.
it's like our baby. That's like the
Yeah.
first thing. And those songs like never get old to me. They like snap me back to a time and place. So like any of those songs, I always like wish they were in rotation. But the reality is, like, once we put Would You Miss It out, we very quickly realized that people knew those songs more than the old stuff, which is crazy to say. Like it
Mhm.
feels fucked up to say that, but like before you knew it, we were playing songs like Hanging from Grace and Song for Anthony, and like less and less people knew it.
Mhm.
So we're just like, they naturally kind of phased out. But any of those songs would probably be my answer. Drives Out East, like I like all those songs. We all like all those songs, but like I think Bariches is really the only mainstay for a good reason. Like I'm
Mhm.
happy to go back and play whatever, but it's like I'm not dying to play any of those songs. Where like
Mhm.
I would love to just fucking play Translucent one day on a tour, like
Yeah.
something like that. Like that would be cool.
Like, you don't know yet, obviously, because when the new album comes out. When's the thought of that? Maybe early next year, possibly.
Yeah, that's pretty much the
Give or
plan.
take.
I think.
I would. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a timeline.
Yeah,
I'm always thinking, because you guys seem like, and there's a reason why you are where you are. You guys think ahead, you plan ahead. There's a lot of thought with it. As the thought of the set list, now that you have all these new songs, is because you can't fit everything in, have you kind of started an idea of like, ooh, this could go there, that could go there? Like, shit, we can't play this song. Like,
yeah.
because you only have
There's
so
a
much
little
time.
kicking around. There's definitely some thoughts of that, both like excited and anxious, where it's like, oh shit, well this song's an E flat. Like, how are we gonna fit it in after this? Like, this does this have to be its own block of 3? Like these like little like nuanced nerdy thoughts definitely have been like kind of consuming our mind as we like look ahead with these new songs. But there's also been thoughts of like, yo, I can't wait to play this song. I can't wait to pair
Mhm.
this song with that song. Like it's definitely been popping around the think tank for sure.
Cool. Yeah, and people will be excited, and when that comes about, and people are going to actually hear this. So quickly, I want to get into 51st, obviously,
Yeah,
but quickly talk about Blood Runs Cold here for a sec, because it's another band, and it's what's cool with you. It shows your diversity and your interest in music? Like, because if someone would put Koyo on and then put Blood Runs Cold on, it sounds like two different. Obviously, it's two totally different bands, and
Yeah,
it shows
yeah.
your interest. Blood Runs Cold. I said this to you before. It kills. It's really good.
Thank you.
Koyo kills but Blood Run Cold kills too. So what's what the status of what you guys are up to right now? And even though like everybody's busy doing their thing with stuff, so it's probably difficult to get together with it.
Yeah, for sure. So Blood Runs Cold, like the origin of the band is basically like obviously I go way back with like everyone in Sanction, some of which also played in the band or were tight with the band, separated. Like it's kind of all like shared Smithtown group of friends, and I grew up being tight with all of them and still are tight with all of them. And basically Evan, who also plays in Missing Link among a litany of other bands, hit me up because him and Little D, they're brothers, and D plays drums. And they hit me up around COVID time and were like, yo, we got these 6 songs. Do you want to? We've been talking about doing bands forever. It's like, would you want to sing on this? Sent me the songs, and I was like, of course, I'm totally down. Um, and really, like, and this is just in part to like Evan's writing style. It's not to trivialize what he's writing at all, but like for me, it was like Separated was my like favorite local band that I was seeing as a like teenager into like young adult. There were some of my to this day great friends, and like Blood Runs Cold just sounded like an even harder Separated. So it just like more extreme in some ways. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get to basically just sing in the band I was always like just moshing for and like seeing all the time at
Mhm.
every show. Like it's like cool. I just get to do it now too with the friends I made through that connection. So it was it was and is a meaningful thing, which is cool because I think sometimes people kind of get lost in the context of like how do these two things exist at the same time? Like there's meaning to all of it.
Sure.
Um, but Blood Runs Cold in actuality like isn't a super busy band. Everyone has lives and is busy. We play when we can. We've done a bunch of Long Island shows. We played out here or there. We've done Jersey twice. We played up in New Hampshire once. We play around where we can. We played Delaware once. It's like we've gotten out around the Northeast. Um, but I think we need new music to really do anything else. Like I would love to get the band out to California for a weekend. I would love to like play some more shows. We have like 2 songs written. We just got to record it. And honestly, it's also like harder for me to do now because like screaming, like doing that type of vocal, it's like a use it or lose it type thing. And
It
I
is.
am not using it like I used to.
Yeah.
Like in Typecast, I did all the backup vocals. So like when COVID happened and Typecast slowed down, I was still in use it territory. Like Typecast stopped playing shows and Blood Runs Cold recorded within like a 1-year window. So it's like I still feel like I had the chops then. And now it's like a lot harder for me to tap back into that. Not impossible, but like I was having trouble playing the couple shows we were playing because I was like blowing out my voice. And like
Mm.
that
Yeah.
never happened in my life. But it's because like it was something I used to do all the time. And now I don't do it as much. So it like requires a little bit of like vetting and getting back into the zone with to do it.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
we
Hopefully hear
want to do
more of
it.
it soon.
It's just a matter of when.
Right, right, absolutely. So I guess talk 51st State now. Records, obviously.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start that?
Um, it was really just a honestly I think it just came from a place of like boredom's kind of the wrong word because I wasn't bored per se, but it's like I'm just kind of a person that always needs a project and always needs something to do. Koyo was very busy, but also our year was completely solved. We knew exactly what we were doing for the next eternity, putting out a record, touring a bunch, and like at the time I wasn't working really. I was doing like odd jobs in between tours. So I just wanted something to do that was tangible. And especially as Koyo continued to get busy, like I still go to shows often and pretty much as often as I can when I'm home. I'm not one of those people that like doesn't go to shows when
No,
they're
yeah,
off.
I saw you a week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Right,
I
right, yeah,
try and be around as much
yeah.
as I can, but it's like even then I was feeling just the absence of like not being a guy that goes to shows all the
Mm.
time. on Long Island. So it's like, if I can't be at every show, maybe I could at least participate. I could fill that gap in participation with something else in the way of just like giving younger bands something tangible to hold in their hands, a tape, a CD, whatever. And that was kind of the mission statement. Like, got it off the ground just off that. It was initially almost exclusively Long Island bands, and now it's kind of expanded a little
Yeah.
beyond that sphere. But it's totally for shits and gigs. Like, it's not it's not like a money making machine or something. I've lost more money on it than I've gained, but like, and that's my whole point is that that's arbitrary. It's not about any of that. It's literally like I'm just truly stoked to like get to go through the mechanics of like, you send me CD art, talk to my guy, get them sent to my apartment, and post a pre-order and just get to like do shit with bands that are like young and excited and like doing what all of me and my friends' bands did. It's just
Yeah.
cool to be a part of that in some way and be a part of that from like an angle that I had never otherwise experienced.
Yeah, and it's great. Like, he put out like Last Laughs EP, which is kills, and then obviously the Deadshot one that I know of well. But
Yeah.
then they're recording now. It's like some and other stuff that you put out and you have coming out. What are some upcoming releases you have? 51st State.
So at the time that this will have came out, it'll have already been out. But Friday, July 4th, Static Vision from Belgium is dropping a new CD. So I'm doing they have vinyl that a European label is doing, and then I'm doing the CDs for it. Jackal from Massachusetts recently dropped 2 songs that I did a tape for. I believe I'm doing some new Deadshot stuff with them. And I don't know if it'll be rolling out, but my first venture into the world of vinyl is gonna be with Capillary from New Jersey, who I did their demo on the label. It's like more of an emo band, but they're doing their first LP, and like I really believe in it. So I'm just I put some money aside and said, go for it. I'll put it on wax for you and make it happen. So I'm really stoked on that. I don't know if it'll be rolling out at this point. It's all supposed to be happening soon, but I think we'll at least be getting it going this year, which is exciting.
That's awesome. So yeah, you got a lot of stuff coming, with the label. That's another thing I was going to ask. It's like, um, do you prefer vinyl, CD, tape, or it just kind of depends on the release or the band, or how does that go about?
CD is my preference just because it's kind of had a resurgence as a medium. People love buying CDs at this
Yeah,
point.
it has. Mhm.
And it's kind of a nice little hack where it's like you still get like an insert in your hands, you still get a layout in your hands, you still get the thank you notes and the lyric sheet and all that good stuff, but it's just more friendly to like the modern landscape. It's like someone could buy a CD and pop it in a drawer. It's not as much of a commitment to like, I feel like vinyl, you really have to be like ahead. You have to be
Yeah,
down. You have to love that shit. And I do, and most hardcore kids do, but I understand that not everyone is as tempted to spend 25 to 30 bucks on an LP for a band they might not really know. Where like CD, it's a little easier to just like to wholesale them out to record stores, to let someone who like knows the label by way of Koyo just take a chance on some new music. Like it's just a very accessible medium, and that's why I ultimately prefer that to all
yeah.
others.
I
As
still like, for even my band, like that we put an album out 25 years ago, I still say CD.
Yeah,
So
CD's the
yes,
way.
I date
CD's the way.
myself to that. So what does the future? I mean, you talked 51st. So like obviously we were talking about it a little with Koyo. You have the album, there's the tours and coming up and stuff. So what does this comes out August 6th? What does the future hold for you, like moving forward with Koyo, for you, what you see for the second half of this year?
So for the remainder of the year, we are mostly off until the fall, which is great for basically all the reasons discussed in this podcast. It's just
Mhm.
nice to have a little time to breathe, finish the record, and just kick it at home, be around, go to shows, go to the beach, be with my girl, just have some like stationary time that is very very needed. Um, and then in the fall, in October, we are doing 8 shows in the UK with Newfound Glory, which should be
I
awesome.
saw that. That's gonna be great.
That'll be sick. It's like going to like a crazy huge venue in London that I once went to with Vane years and years ago. So the thought of playing that place, like I know
Awesome.
exactly what it is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit, it's crazy. Um, and then we're doing it'll be announced at this point. We're going to be properly headlining for the first time. We've never really done a true Koyo headlining tour. We've done like the triple thing with like Anxious and One Step Closer. We've done like headlining shows to like fill some like gaps in like tours and stuff, but we've never done a headlining Koyo full US. Um, and that's gonna be us, Ben Quad from Oklahoma, which is like a more of like a emo band that's like
Mhm.
on Pure Noise Records, Restraining Order, and then the opening slot of the tour is Two Legs. One half of it is Leaving Time from Jacksonville, and another half of it is another very dope band who I can't announce until August 23rd. So I will leave it blank at this
Cool.
time.
Mhm.
But there will be another announcement following up being like, hey, this is the opener for the other leg.
It's awesome.
I'm really excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Nice little mixed bill. No two bands sound exactly the same, and that's kind of just always been our MO. Just always want to keep it like a broad spectrum of like exposure to kids and people checking out bands.
Cool. So a lot coming up, and then I'm sure for sure going into the new year, which is
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
to say.
We'll
Yeah.
be rolling out the record. Like we'll have shows next year. Like we plan to do some record release shows like around the Northeast and play Long Island quite a bit next year. Like
Great.
be on tour in the spring. We're gonna be in Europe in February. It just hasn't been announced yet and won't be announced till the fall. Like
Mhm.
we have a whole bunch going on, which is awesome. You want to be busy when a record's coming out. So
Right.
just savoring the still time and then
Right
back
now
to
that you have, yeah.
everything,
But it sounds like you said, it's all you guys really know. Like you like that movement, you like being on tour, and it seems like
Totally.
you're enjoying it. Like you're really
Yeah,
enjoying it. Like, and that's the biggest piece of it.
totally. And don't get me wrong, like has ups and downs. There have definitely been periods of time, especially doing it for as long as I have at this point, where like I haven't enjoyed it or been like a little more disenchanted by it.
Mm,
Like it comes in ebbs and flows, but at this very time, at this very place, especially with where things are at with the band right now, it's like I'm loving it, I'm enjoying it, and
awesome.
definitely like appreciating the moment for sure.
Awesome. So I have a bunch of questions here, and it's really first thing that comes to mind. If you want to elaborate on them, go ahead. So
Yeah,
it's going
sure.
to start with questions about things you like into like I'm going to have you choosing different albums
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
let's
like
go for
that.
it.
So yeah, so go ahead and elaborate. So, what's a Koyo song that you're most proud of?
Ooh, good question. Um, Probably Life's a Pill
Mm,
because not only is that song awesome and dope instrumentally, but like lyrically, I feel like I like successfully touched on some like heavy shit in my life with that song in like a really substantial way. And like when we play that song live and it gets a pop and people know it, like it just floors me every time.
It's mean like a lot, right? So, song's great.
100%. Thank you.
It's cool hearing it like that aspect of it when you know the song, and then hearing someone who writes it says that about it. That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
Favorite tour that you've been on?
Ooh, God, there's so many good ones. Okay, I'll break it up into like I gotta give like a top three because I'm so bad
Sure.
at like definitive
I
answers.
said you could add. It's like
Yeah,
don't just limit you to one, of course.
in no particular order. Bayside was amazing. That's like the best support tour we've ever done. Like in terms of just like a band we didn't know treating us in a really amazing way. It left like such a huge impact on all of us. We loved that tour. The No Pressure Fleshwater Illusion tour that we did, that was just like maximum chilling with homies, had an absolute fucking blast. And then I would say first time in Japan was like bucket list, unforgettable, like beautiful trip. 100%. Those three.
So I've had a few bands that have been on here and just friends talking to over the years. Everyone mentions how amazing Japan is.
It's the best ever. It's heaven on earth. Like when Koyo went over, I'd already been once with Vane, so Koyo spent we did a week of tour there, and then myself, my girlfriend, and pretty much all of us stayed for like 2 more weeks after. We were there for almost a month. It was crazy.
Cool. A WoW band that you've either played with or toured with, where it hit you like, wow, holy shit, like we played with this band here.
So that's a great question because there's actually
You have quite a few, so
so many answers to this. Um, God, there's actually just so many, like over the years, especially. Like it's like there's like ones that are like given answers where it's like, oh, like Fleshwater is like unfucking believable. But those are also some of my best friends. It's like it's not like I'm like reinventing the wheel given that answer. Um, I think life's question is like one of like there's a reason we always went back to they're obviously dear friends too, but there's a reason we kind of always went back to like asking them to be on tours with us and asking them to play shows with us because that band was just like another level in so many aspects, like the written music, the mosh parts, like everything, like Josh's lyrical content, just so much of it was like astonishing. Like that's a fucking wow factor band for me too.
cool. Favorite Long Island band from the late '90s?
I mean, they're not. I guess they're not literally exclusive to late '90s because they started in the mid '90s. But ultimately, the answer is SM. Like Silent Majority's got to be the answer. That's like the one for me. But VOD is definitely in close competition. Like
Yeah.
real, and again, same deal. It's like they were around in the mid '90s, but like VOD is like tug of war with SM. But SM definitely wins for me.
Right. Favorite Long Island venue that closed?
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna limit this to obviously just my lifetime and experience because obviously there's so many great venues that I would have like loved to go to, but just was too young or different time periods, whatever. But SRC, which was just a VFW in Sayville, like it's a stock answer. I mean, that's like just where I went to a lot of my earlier shows, but like
That's come up here before, by the way.
it's kind of the perfect room. It was amazing. Like that place just gave Scanlon the keys and like let him do his thing. They didn't ask questions. Everyone just mobbed up inside, outside, walked around Sayville, right? You know, down. It was awesome. It was so dope. Like just really cool. And also like in proximity to where I lived. So it was a place I could get my parents to drive me to.
Yeah, like perfect.
It was so dope.
That's perfect. I mean, we kind of talked about one of them here, but your favorite scene or scenes, because you've seen a lot of them outside of New York.
Great question. Like We, it's kind of a cheap answer because, like, obviously LA is fucking insane because it's Los Angeles, but like playing there is like playing home. It's like cracked out. It's just insane to play Los
Mhm.
Angeles. Um, but I have a lot of obvious like love and respect for like Massachusetts too, because there's just that connect that I love going to and playing shows up there. But I would actually say if you omit those two, Florida.
Mm.
Shows in Florida are insane. Like shows in Florida are crazy. And like always one of the earliest adopters of like anything I've ever done musically. Like people down there, they definitely get it. They're like day one for dope shit always.
Yep. 40-hour back to Penn or this time next year?
For me, this time next year. And that's not to say it's better, it's just I'm more attached to it.
We're attached to that one. Everything you ever wanted to know about silence or worship and tribute?
Oh God, that's hard. Um Ultimately, I think worship and tribute, I would say.
Hmm. Diary or self-titled?
Diary.
Diary.
Self-titled is fire and underrated.
Yes, that's a good one. They're both great. Tell all your friends or where you want to be.
Where you want to be without fail. Tell
Hmm.
your friends is great. Don't get me wrong. It's classic. Did all the obvious things, but where you want to be is like just like one step further in terms of like maturity and growth as a record, where it's like it's not a departure from like the sound on Tell All Your Friends, but it's just leveled up and matured enough where it's like this record's timeless and I could listen to this forever, you know?
Right. Hmm. You mentioned VOD, so they're self-titled or imprint?
So again, Imprint is very underrated and like glazed over too often, but it's ultimately self-titled.
Yeah, yeah. That captured such a time, that self-titled album. A band or artist that you like that may surprise people?
Interesting. That's a good question. trying to think because like I don't think I like a lot of stuff that's like truly out there. Like maybe that's not true, but it's like I don't know. Like I don't think a lot of the stuff I like would surprise people. I think some of it would just be a case of like them just not knowing. Like I love a lot of like trip hop stuff. Like I got like
Mhm.
obsessed with like trip hop shit through like touring with Vane. It's like most people just don't know what a lot of those artists are, like except
Mhm.
for maybe like Massive Attack or something that's like really big. Um, so like stuff like that. I also like obviously it's like we were saying, I just have like a wide palette of like stuff I like. So it's like I think a lot of just like the other like to like a Koyo fan by way of like pure noise, pop punk support touring, like, I don't think they'd understand me listening to like Suffocation or something, like they just wouldn't get how that's possible. But
Uh-huh.
like that's just obviously like our background on the island is just like
Yeah.
an eclectic mix of music.
Agreed. It's like so much different styles of music, right there for sure.
Whole
Two more, and we're almost. What did you listen to last, other than your record, new record, obviously?
question. What did I just listen? See, this is like real like ADD brain where it's like, what was I just listening to?
So, Joey, for real, this question, when I ask people this, it's you could think back your top albums, things of this and back. You can go back. You could think of a show you went to. No, most people have to stop. Like, what did I listen to last? you know,
It definitely is tripping me up. I'm literally gonna look because I want to know what I actually listened to like when I drove to the studio in New Jersey. Um, oh, duh, the fucking So two things, two completely different things. Sin Against Sin, which is like a new band from Massachusetts that's like members of like a bunch of mass bands. It's awesome. It's really hard. It's dope. And the new Pink Panthers record, which is
oh,
also
okay,
really awesome. Very, very
cool.
sounds like 2000s UK shit. It's sick.
Last one here. It's again, like I said, they're randomly all over the place. These questions. Your favorite movie or movies? Your go-tos if you had to watch.
Probably Super Bad or like anything in the early Scream franchise. Those are like the two goats for me.
Superbad is a classic. What a great movie.
Untouchable. It's
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
timeless.
My son's 15 years old, so I was proud to watch that with him.
Yeah,
That
that's awesome. That's kind of
was
the
a fun
dream.
way to
It's like
watch that with him.
you're you're,
My
you're
11-year-old was
my
like,
age. You can
yeah,
see this
yes.
now. Like that's
My
awesome.
11-year-old was trying to come in. I'm like, get out of here. Your mother's going to kill me. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no
You
way.
got a couple more years before you're in super
Especially
bad.
the first scene, like with all the drawings and all that
Oh
shit.
yeah.
But Joey, man, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Anything you want to end off with?
No, just obviously thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And just if anyone's made it this far and listens to the end, because hey, podcasts are long, just appreciate you taking the time to sit here and listen to me ramble about whatever.
Thanks, bud. Just hang here. I'm going to end this off, okay?
Cool. Thank you, brother.
Thank you for listening to What Lies Ahead podcast, which is available on all streaming platforms. Go save the What Lies Ahead podcast playlist on Spotify that features all bands that were on the show. For more information on future episodes, you can go to my Instagram account and follow at What Lies Ahead _podcast and on Facebook by searching What Lies Ahead. See you on the next episode.